like I said, life wasn't easy. My mother didn't have any special job. She was just a tailor who wasn't trained. So most of the time she could just do the repairs. At times she could go without food. Many times. I remember us taking cabbage, boiled without salt, without ugali, just like that, severally. At times,
managing to get money for salt alone.
Was a problem.
I see.
I can't count the number of days when we could come from school and it's raining and we get 2 padlocks, one from my mother and the other one from the landlord. Yeah, it was like the order of the day. We could be rained on as we wait for mom to come back home, go and talk to the landlord, maybe promise to get something. Then he opens with a warning. I can't remember how many times the neighbors could sit talking about us because of the situation we were in. But I told my mom one thing, that I'll have to get my Form 4 certificate.
Yes.
Even if it means going to work as a maid or a house help anywhere, I'll have to get that certificate.
You are determined.
Yeah, and I told her that I'll have to work in the hostel. Even if I'll work there as a sweeper or a person who gives the meal or a person who works in the mortuary, I have to work in the hostel.
Okay. Thank you so much, my viewer. This is your program that you love so much. My name is Brother John Okidi. I thank you so much for the opportunity that we have got again to bring you a wonderful testimony of victory of what God has done in the life of my guest today. It's a blessing. In this program, we bring in men and women who have gone through challenges, different kinds of challenges in life. And God has been gracious to them, and they come here to share their victories. And even for those who are still trusting God for victories in their lives, they come over, and through you, God has opened doors for so many of these brethren. And today they have testimonies of what they can share about the grace of God working through people like you to be a blessing to them. And today, I just want to bring a sister who the Lord has done great things in her life. If you talk of life from grass to grace, now I have the best example, the best of what we can describe of that. And I want you to just sit back and relax and flow with us in the Spirit as you listen to the testimony, of my sister. If this is your first time to be on this YouTube channel, I want to humbly ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also you can turn on the notification bell right there. So anytime that we share any new video, you shall be the first to be notified by YouTube that we have a new staff on board. God bless you so much, and relax and flow with us from this starting point to the very end. And I believe the Lord is going to move you in faith from one point to another. God bless you. Karibu sana, my sister.
Asante.
It's a blessing to have you here.
It's a blessing too.
Amen. I want you to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them who you are, where you come from, and then we shall continue with the testimony.
My name is Faith Carol Ogola. I come from Muhoroni. I grew in Migori. That is, was born in Muhoroni, grew in Migori.
Yes.
Currently in Homa Bay. Yeah, and I bless the Lord for giving me opportunity to be here and giving me the opportunity to be born in Muhoroni, being in Migori and being in Homa Bay. Yeah, so it's a blessing.
You were born in Muhoroni, that is Kisumu County. You grew up in Migori County.
That is Migori County.
And then you are now in Homa Bay.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, Homa Bay County.
Homa Bay County, yeah.
Just tell us a little about how your life has been, having grown up in where and gone where and finally here.
Okay, I come from a family of 4.
Yes.
My name, Faith, wasn't just a name, but it's a name after seeking God for so long for a child. My mom being not in position of giving birth after giving birth to the first child, who was a boy, passed on. Then this brought issues between her and the husband, and she had to separate. got remarried somewhere, gave birth to me and my sister, then came back to her first husband and gave birth to my younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was in Muhoroni?
That was in Muhoroni, yeah.
Okay.
So when she came back to the first husband, the first husband had 2 wives after my mom, and being in a polygamous family wasn't easy.
Yes.
So my mom had to move out after they discussed, and the first husband took her to Migori to go and build for her a home there, which never materialized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom had to stay in rentals and see on how we can feed us.
Okay.
Yeah, and make us have a home, go to school, everything.
Okay. Talking of first husband, second husband, the first husband died or something later, or is he still there?
Apparently, both of them died the same year, the same month.
Okay.
Yeah, so in either way, I could have still been missing my 2 dads. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So the father died when you were younger or something?
Yeah, I was young. I was in class 5 by then.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you were basically raised by a single mom?
A single mom, yeah.
Okay.
And she never got married again.
Okay.
Till her death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she also died?
She also died, yeah.
I see. After how long now?
After 10 years.
After 10 years?
Yeah.
So that must have been, you should have been in secondary school.
Immediately after my 4th form.
Okay.
She died in January 2009.
Okay.
As I was waiting for my KCSE results.
Oh.
Yeah.
How was her death like? Was it as a result of a long illness or an accident?
I think she developed hypertension that she never took care of because of her situation, not being in position of taking care of us. She had to feed us, and she couldn't manage to be in the long-term management.
Okay.
These later on, as what I can see now, made her have some organ failures.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them was kidney. At one point, I was seeing her turning yellow. To me, I thought she was being brown because by then I didn't know anything. But now, being a medic, I realized that she had some issues with the liver too,
okay,
which made her turn yellow. But she got, being in the hospital, she was hospitalized for just 2 weeks, though she was at home with this illness for, I think, around 4 to 3 years. Yeah. Because she began when I was joining Form 1.
Yeah.
Then when I finished my 4th form,
yeah,
one day after we had done everything in the evening, I heard her crying. Then I was like, "What is wrong, Mom?" Then she couldn't talk well. I had to rush her to the hospital. I didn't have money at that time.
You were in class?
In my 4th form now.
You were in Form 4 at that time?
After finishing my 4th form. The same year I finished my 4th form.
All right.
Yeah.
So you were, you said you had 4 other siblings, or you were 4?
We are 4 altogether.
Right.
I'm the second born.
You're the second born.
Yeah, though the first born passed on.
Okay.
And so I'm currently the first born.
You're the first born.
I'm the first born, yeah, for now.
So you're the one who took care of her.
Yeah, during the time she was sick, my brother, who was the first born, he was in Somali.
Okay.
Got some job there, so he wasn't home. So I was the next adult that could be responsible.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I had to rush her to the hostel.
Yes.
We didn't have money at that time. So during that time, we were worshiping at Migori Worship Center under Bishop Okinda.
Yes.
I really appreciate him so much.
Amen.
Yeah, without him, so many things could have not worked in my life. He's the first man who gave my mom my first fee to join Form 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
When everybody else had gone to school and I was at home. And I felt so bitter, or so, yeah, let me say bitter, because having passed, I had 340 marks out of 500.
Yeah.
With all those challenges, and everybody had gone to school, including those who had 100 marks. So you can imagine how things were. I gathered courage and went to him, talked to him.
Yes.
Then he told me to call my mother. Then he gave my mother, I think, around 15,000 shillings. This 15,000 shillings was the fee and the requirements that were needed to join Form 1.
Yes.
So I really thank him because he made me begin my step.
Wow.
Yeah, without him stepping in, maybe I could have not joined Form 1.
Glory to God.
So may God richly bless him. If he can hear this, may God richly bless him.
Mzee, God bless you so much. You did so much to impact the life of my sister here today. Right now you are working in Homa Bay County. We shall come to that, but just a little bit about that. You're working in Homa Bay County. Yeah,
I'm working in Homa Bay County teaching a referral hospital as a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
All this could be traced from that act of kindness.
Yeah, from that act of kindness.
By Bishop Okinda.
Yeah.
God bless you so much, man of God. Live long and enjoy more of God's grace in your life. Yes, so you're with your mama. She has fallen sick. You didn't have money.
Nothing.
She is to be taken to the hospital.
She is to be taken to the hospital. She couldn't walk. Yeah, because I didn't have any other person to go to. We didn't have a phone by that time, so I couldn't call my uncles. My mind rushed to Bishop again because he had helped me.
Yes.
And not only that, he had been standing with us all along from the time we joined his church.
Okay.
He could step in once in a while. So I went to him again and told him my mom is sick. And he gave me money, took my mom to Migori Hospital. By then it was a district hospital, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I took my mom there.
Yeah. You take your mama to Migori District Hospital then.
Yeah.
Which is now the Migori County Referral Hospital today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she stayed there for 1 week.
She stayed there for 1 week. Then a diagnosis of liver cirrhosis with hypertension was made. And we had to take her to another hospital because they could not manage that at that time. And I think it was at the end stage and the doctors just couldn't tell us the reality. Because I could read in their faces what they are trying to communicate, though by then I didn't understand anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did Mama stay in that condition until she died?
She stayed there. She stayed in that condition for 2 weeks. She got admitted in Migori Hospital for 1 week. Yeah. And got admitted at Jalaram Hospital another 1 week, and she passed on.
She passed on.
Yeah.
That is in Kisumu.
In Kisumu, yeah.
The only adult here is you.
Is me, yeah.
Who is supposed to take care of
her. Who is supposed to take care of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't you have some other relatives you could approach, maybe from Moroni or from Migori? Tell me about that.
Okay, when my mom, now she was to be transferred to Kisumu, it was my uncle's initiative. I had to get his number and call him. Yeah. I've told that we didn't have a phone.
Yes.
So I had to look for a phone, call my uncle. And because I didn't know what was happening, I didn't know the diagnosis, I told him that my mom is sick, ultrasound has been done, and so he told me to read for him whatever has been written there, but I could not read. So I just spelled the letter that I was, and then the tone in his voice was like, it was a battle that we could not win. Then he had to call his driver to come and pick us from Migori to Jalaram. So it's him who facilitated us going to Jalaram Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to take us back how my learning was from class 1, maybe to me reaching Form 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, life wasn't easy. My mother didn't have any special job. She was just a tailor who wasn't trained. So most of the time she could just do the repairs. At times she could go without food. Many times. I remember us taking cabbage, boiled without salt, without ugali, just like that, severally. At times,
managing to get money for salt alone.
Yeah, was a problem.
I see.
I can't count the number of days when we could come from school and it's raining and we get 2 padlocks. One from my mother and the other one from the landlord.
Landlord.
Yeah, it was like the order of the day. We could be rained on as we wait for mama to come back home, go and talk to the landlord, maybe promise to get something. Then he opens with a warning. I can't remember how many times the neighbors could sit talking about us because of the situation we were in. But I want to thank God for my mom, because she told us one thing, that when you hear somebody talking about you, don't answer, kneel down and pray. And that is where my prayer life began.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so most of my things, whenever I go through a challenge, I remember mom telling us that just kneel down and pray. God has the answer.
I see.
Yeah, so
your mom basically established you on prayer.
on prayers, yeah, because there was no any other thing she could tell us.
Okay.
There was no any other solution apart from praying. Yeah, and literally we depended on God. I still depend on Him for provision and everything. I remember there was a time when I was in class 5 and I was sent from school to go and get 200-page book. And we didn't have anything. There was no money. I'd gone to school hungry. We had gone without food the previous night. Going to school, then the teacher is like, you have to get the 200-page book. And we had to buy 5 of them. And my mom didn't have money. So because she told us that anything we go through, we have to pray. Reaching home, I just knelt down and prayed. Then, that was, I think, the first miracle that happened in my life.
Yes.
When my mom went for her evening fellowship, we used to go every evening. During that time, I remember Bishop Okinda had just come from Nairobi, and maybe he didn't know what we were going through. But he called my mom and gave my mom 500 shillings out of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah, just called her and gave her 500 shillings. To me, it was an answered prayer, because my mom went, bought us the five books that were needed, and I went to school.
And of course, 500 shillings was
a lot of money during that time. Yeah.
Yes.
So God, having answered this, made me know that no alternative, just have to seek God. Whenever something is not working right, I cry to God. If He answers it then and then, it's okay. If He doesn't answer it, I put it in His store. He'll remember it, because He doesn't forget.
All right.
And He has His time for answering prayers.
Your name is Faith.
My name is Faith.
So you have been living a life of faith.
I've been living a life of faith. Yeah.
Some of this that brings me to something that even some of the names that we give our children, they have impact in their lives.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yes, because there's a reason, divine reason why your mama gave you that name, because it has been seen working in your life. Jumping a little bit, your mama dies the day you are expecting your results, the Form 4 results. And of course, after Form 4 results, students are going to colleges to pursue studies at different levels. Some girls are going to be married and things like such. So tell us your life after your mama died with regards to your education and the rest.
My mom passed on, then I'm there. We took the body to Muhoroni, buried the body, then had to go back to Migori, because my brother then...
Did you have hurdles when the body was being taken back to Muhoroni? I imagine there could have been some challenges.
Yeah, the challenges...
With the family from there receiving the body.
Yeah. That made my mom stay in the mortuary for around 1 month or 3 weeks. Yeah. Because they couldn't just settle on where to bury her.
Okay.
Then after negotiations and talks, they decided to bury her in her first home where she got married first. It was a challenge. It's still a challenge up to now, because it was like we are never close to these people, both of my two families. Yeah. Okay. That makes me have only God, because I don't always feel to belong in both the two families.
Oh yeah.
I left my real home, or my father's home when I was young.
Yeah.
When I was around 6 years, and I never went back till when I had issues with my school fees. That's around when I was in Form 3.
When your dad had passed on.
Both of them had passed on
by that time.
So I'm going home. I didn't know that my biological father is dead. Reaching home, I'm told that you've done well coming. Let us take you first to your dad's grave. you see where he was laid. Then I got there. Then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to cry or to pray or just to. So I just stood there for some time. Then I said, that is life. Then came back home, stayed there for like 1 week. Then told them what has brought me there. Told them that we've been living with mom and have challenges with my school fee. That was when I'd stayed out of school for 2 years. I joined Form 1, but couldn't continue because of the hardships. But I told my mom one thing, that I'll have to get my Form 4 certificate.
Yes.
Even if it means going to work as a maid or a house help anywhere,
Yes.
I'll have to get that certificate.
You are determined.
Yeah, and I told her that I'll have to work in the hostel. Even if I'll work there as a sweeper or a person who gives the meal or a person who works in the mortuary, I have to work in the hostel.
Okay.
Whatever thing
What
happens.
was really inspiring you to decide to work in an hospital?
I just don't know, but I think, okay, when I was growing, I was in nursery school. I had an accident. Then I was taken to the hostel.
Okay.
And the then nurses were so good. I loved the way they were dressing.
Okay.
Then when I was growing, my mom loved books, so she bought me most of the books she was buying had things to do with medicine.
Okay.
The stories like Ben Carson, there was the series of Trufena student nurse, Trufena city nurse, Trufena aeroplane nurse, something like that. Air nurse. So when I was reading these books, made me have passion of doing nursing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was what made me say that I have to work in the hostel.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you manage? Because I'm really interested in how, when your mother had died and you're now meant to go to college, how did things work out until you got there? What happened?
When I went back to school, I had a vision.
Yes.
Or maybe I had a plan, or I thought I could make it to university.
Yes.
But I don't know how to put it. I missed university cut points with 2 points then.
Okay.
So I couldn't go to university. And I told you that I went back home. So my uncle is Dr. Joshua Ron. I really thank him so much. He paid my fee from Form 3 to Form 4. And later on looked for me because I'd passed and there was no any history of where I was. I've told you that I wasn't comfortable being home in both 2 homes. So because I wasn't feeling like I belong anywhere.
Okay.
If my dad could have been there, it could have been easier.
Okay.
But now he wasn't there.
So that is your uncle from your mom's side?
From my dad's side,
Your dad's side.
my biological dad's side.
I see.
Yeah. So I had to leave home. After my first home, mom is buried. I went back to my biological home again for like 1 month. Then got out, went to Migori, then went to Tanzania to look for a job.
You?
Yeah, because now I was the firstborn. I have these other siblings. My brother, like, he went to Somalia, never came back. Came back later because the organization he was working with could not allow them to come back home when 1 year has not elapsed.
Okay.
So mom was buried without him knowing. And mom fell sick without him. We couldn't communicate. So when he came home, my uncle, one of my uncles, met him at the airport and told him that you lost one of you, but didn't mention who that was. So coming home, he gets the grave of my mom, and he didn't know what to do. So during this time, I'd gone to Tanzania because we couldn't communicate, we couldn't coordinate, and these other siblings were also to be taken care of. Okay. So I stayed in Tanzania for like 6 months, but things didn't work out. I went there to teach. How did you manage
to go to Tanzania? Who connected you to that?
I sneaked in. I was coming from Migori. I had a friend who was, we learned with her at Asar Johansson, and she was in Mwanza. Okay. She had an uncle who was teaching in Msoma, and they needed a teacher who could teach English. So she sneaked me in Tanzania to his uncle. I stayed there for some time, but it couldn't just work. So I had to come back home.
So that you were in Form
After
2?
my fourth form.
Oh, after your fourth
Yeah,
form.
I've done my KCSE. Mom is dead.
Yes.
I've gone back home,
Uh-huh.
my biological home.
Yes.
And I couldn't just sit there like that. And my siblings, my two siblings. By then, my sister was in Form 4.
Okay.
And my younger brother was in class 8.
Who used to be paying school fees for your sister and you?
My fee was paid by my uncle, Dr. Joshua Ron.
All right.
My sister's fee was paid by my uncle, the one, Dr. Juma Hayombe,
Okay.
the one who took my mom from Migori to Jalaram for treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, in all this, I think I'm the one who wasn't lucky to get consistent person who could hold my hand, but now God saw my tears somewhat and connected me with my uncle. During that time, Dr. Joshua Ron was not in Kenya, so getting him was a problem. And I didn't stay at home, I didn't live with them, he didn't know me. So I have to look for him. I remember walking from Kenyari to Otonglo on foot. I'm going to look for Dr. Joshua Ron. Then arriving at Otonglo, I'm told that he just left. Gone back to, I don't know, he was in London or US.
Okay.
I had to wait for him to come back again. Then coming back this time round, I managed to get him. Then I told him, I introduced myself, I'm the daughter to your late brother, and I don't have school fees. Then he was like, and where are you? All the daughters and all the children of my brother are at home. And that is what made me go back to my biological home. Yeah.
I see.
So going there, I thank God for him. He stood with me. Paid my fees from Form 3 to Form 4. I passed. Didn't manage to go to university, which was my main aim. But life had to go on.
Yeah.
I do say that there is no closed door.
Yes.
You only have to push harder.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is no closed door. You only have to push harder.
Yeah.
So after my fourth form, I didn't know again how to interact. So I had to go to Tanzania and look for a job. In Tanzania, things didn't work out. I came back to Kenya. So in Kenya, I began doing anything that could make me earn money to help my siblings. So this made me get a lady who employed me as a sales lady in a boutique in Kisumu.
Okay.
At that time, I was renting a house. We were living 3 ladies in that one house. The house was 1,500 and it wasn't in a good state. It was leaking. We didn't have anything. We were having a mat and some 3 jerry cans. Those were our seats. No mattress, nothing. Like I went to Kisumu, I just went like that without anything. So going there, getting that job, my salary was 4,000 shillings. From a mega city to Konalejo. So at times I could walk. I forgot about lunch and I forgot about supper. I was only working on breakfast. Or I could alternate. If I take supper, I'll not take breakfast. It was obvious because for me to get the next meal and at least get something for my siblings.
Where were the siblings by that time?
My sister was in Kisumu.
Yeah.
4th form. My brother was at Musomi Academy. Again, I want to thank Bishop John Okinda. When my mom passed on, he took my brother and paid his fee.
Oh, okay.
Because Musomi is under Migori Worship Center.
I see.
So he paid his fee from, I think, from class 6. My brother joined there in class 6. He was supporting, but my mom was also paying. But when my mom passed on, he took the responsibility.
Okay.
Did everything he could do to make my brother comfortable. People like him, I don't know, it's just one maybe in a million.
Once again,
yeah, he really supported us.
Wow.
So when my brother passed, called to Wanjiko, there was no school fees. At this time, I was still working as a sales lady.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of issues in my mind with all those challenges. So I remember one day, the lady that I was working with, I don't know what she saw in me, but I remember there was a lady who came to buy clothes, you know, the big boutiques.
Yes.
And this lady was in sandals, and she was just casually dressed, maybe having tumba clothes. Then she was asking the prices of clothes that were worth 15,000, 10,000. So this lady, after this customer had left and told me that she's going to get money to come and buy,
Yes.
my employer called me and told me, Faith, are you really normal? And I'm like, what have I done? Do you see that woman? Do you feel that woman can buy those clothes? And I'm like, it's not wrong to tell somebody the price. Then she told me, can you shake your head? Are you feeling something like, are the nuts in your head for real fixed? I'm like, what? Why is this lady telling me like this?
Yes.
Then I thank God who delivered me from that shame, because that lady came back and bought 10 pieces of seats, all 10,000 each, 100,000 shillings without bargaining.
Oh.
And then I learned something. You can't judge somebody the way the person presents and put that person in a class that you feel that person should be.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I said with this lady, I had to be patient with her because I didn't have anywhere to go to. Going home, there was nobody to take care of me. As a lady, I needed other stuff that nobody could give me. I couldn't go to my grandmother because she was also jobless and she had other grandchildren. So I had to be in Kisumu and stay strong and stay tough and face the world. Because when somebody is dead, it's finished the race. But as we are living, you have to continue. Yeah. So I remained in Kisumu until one day my uncle Joshua called to ask of my whereabouts. Then I went to him and he asked me where I was. I told him I'm just in Kisumu. Then he told me that, why haven't you gone to school? I told him I didn't have way of going to any school. Then he asked me which course I wanted to do. I told him I wanted to do nursing. So he told me to go to there is a nursing school, not Tabaka. There is one in Kakamega.
Okay.
To go, it was a private institution, to take my documents there, to go and do an interview. I did the interview, but I wasn't lucky. They didn't pick me.
Okay.
So I came back again. 1 full year went. I stayed at home after my fourth form for around 4 years. Just hustling here and there, looking for things to do so that at least I can keep myself. So when I reached a point that I couldn't take it, I remembered God. And I remember going to church very early in the morning.
So when you failed to get the opportunity there, your uncle didn't, you never got another chance somewhere?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
He told me to go to that institution. I'd tried applying KMTC, but I wasn't lucky to get the chance.
Okay.
I applied severally, but wasn't lucky. So I told him so, and he told me to go to that school.
Okay.
It's St. Elizabeth's Mkomu. Yeah. And I wasn't lucky there. So I was like, I sat down with myself and I was like, what is really wrong with my life? Every step that I want to make, I just have to get a blockage, stay there for some time is when I ascend.
Okay.
So I was like, what is really wrong? So I remembered my mom's advice. Whenever you're facing any difficulty, go back to God.
Pray.
I went back to God. I wasn't committed, I can't cheat you. But let me say, my relationship with God was like a painkiller. Like when you feel headache, you take Panadol, and when the headache is gone, you're back to your life.
It was that casual.
Yeah, casual.
There was not much seriousness.
It wasn't serious at all.
All right.
So I got serious for like 1 week.
Yeah.
Going for morning glory every day, evening services every day. From work, I go to church, pray, go to the house. Before going to work, I pray, then I go to work.
Yeah.
Then there was a time, by that time I was in Kisumu. I was worshiping or fellowshipping with the Deliverance. So there was a time Pastor Joshua Mose, I think today is a bishop of Deliverance, preached about sacrifice. And I had only 500 shillings between me. I didn't have any other money. So I said,
Pastor Jasper, right?
Jasper, yeah.
Jasper Mose.
Mose, yeah.
Okay.
I said, God, if this is you, then let me try you. Even if I take this money, it's not enough for me for the whole month. So let me give it to you. If you can multiply it or you can use it to open for me avenues, well and good.
Yes.
If it doesn't work, it's okay. Like I didn't this one I didn't have any faith. Yeah, because I was like feeling like my life is now like crashed. Nothing good was coming out, and I was like living in my own world with nobody to share with. So I went to God, and after praying, gave that 500 shillings as a sacrifice to God. And I do believe in sacrifices to God when you do it because you're doing it for God, not to please a preacher or a bishop or the person who is teaching the word.
Yes.
After that, I cried to God. I told him, God, I've given you everything that I have. And you see, from the bottomest of my heart, I don't have anything. I think I went home that day and I went without food. Yeah. For that entire month, I was surviving at the mercies of the ladies that we were living with. When that month ended is when my uncle remembered me and asked why I'm still at home, and he told me to go to Mkumu for the interview.
Yes.
And I told him it didn't go through. Then he told me that it's okay. That was around April. So when it reached November, he called me again.
Yeah.
Told me to meet him. This time round he was with Mama Martha, a very dear mother to me.
Yes.
Who could, if she didn't have anything to give me, she could divide for me what she had in her house.
Who is Mama Martha?
Mama Martha is mother to Joshua, sister to Joshua's mom.
Okay.
Yeah. I really thank her, and I really bless the Lord for her, because I wasn't seeing anything so special between me and her that could make her treat me that way, because we are not related in any way.
I see.
She's a sister to mother to my uncle. You know, it's like sort of complicated, but
Trying to connect.
yeah.
All right.
But God used her.
Yeah. A very distant relative.
A very distant relative, yeah. God used her to show me that there's some few people still living on earth who cares.
Oh, yeah.
She took me as a daughter.
Okay.
Up to now, she's been like my mother. Even if I don't normally talk to her, deep down inside my heart, whenever I remember people that that God made me connect with, I do remember her in my prayers.
Okay.
Yeah, once in a while you can talk over the phone.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of my job and because of the nature that I have, I'm not always good in communication. But deep down inside my heart, I really thank God for her.
All right.
She took me in, bought for me, I think, almost all the requirements. Because joining nursing school is not easy.
Okay.
She bought for me things that, for the first time, she took me to a supermarket and told me the essential things that ladies need.
Yeah.
And she was like, what's the size of your brand? I'm like, do they really have sizes? Yeah, because I never used, I was used to going to Kibwe and picking any that fits. So when she told me, first she called me and asked me of my measurements.
Oh, God.
Then I was like, hey, I don't know, because I was used to going to Kibwe very early in the morning, taking the 50-50 ones, 50 top, 50 skirt, or 50 trouser, and it's gone. That is it. And here she is asking me of the measurements of my clothes. I was like, I can't really know. Then she called me to her house. I arrived in the evening. She didn't tell me about going to Nyabondo, going to anywhere, or coming to the house. I got a calling letter.
Oh, okay.
Written Nyabondo MTC with my name on it. Then she told me to go through that letter. And there were some points that I had to sign.
They knew that particularly you wanted to
do a nursing school. Yeah, go to a nursing school. I told them that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I signed.
So they facilitated all this without even
me knowing.
Knowing.
So arriving there, signing the documents. The next day in the morning, we are going to the supermarket, walking in bookshops, buying books, buying everything. She made me feel comfortable. I don't know. I don't know where I can get such a heart or such a person. I was like, oh. I was like, even if my mom could have been alive now, she could have not managed to do the things Martha did to me.
Yes.
For real.
Yes.
She could have not managed.
Yes.
Took me, did for me shopping, and drove me to school.
Oh, yeah?
The same day in the evening. I reported and joined nursing, and that is how I joined nursing.
Okay.
When I arrived in school, I got that they'd already paid 66,000. That was a requirement before you join. You pay 66,000. Then on reporting date, you go with 17,000. So she had a check of 17,000. 66,000 already been paid.
Before. Okay.
When I went, when they were doing the checkings, for the first time, because when I was going to Dede, I didn't have most of the things. I took blanket that I was using. I went to the girls from one.
Yeah.
So I took the blankets that were the used ones.
The one
that we are using in the house is what I reported with.
Okay.
I didn't have most of the things because my mom was trying to squeeze this money so that she gets at least to pay some fee.
Oh, yeah.
So for the first time in my life, I think I enjoyed being admitted in school with all things checked and all things available.
Yes.
To me, that was a miracle. Then I went to Nyabondo MTC, and that is how I joined Nyabondo. Things were not so easy then. I'm in a different environment.
Yes.
And it's
but you are happy with it.
Yeah, I was very happy
that you are finally.
I'm finally in school.
Yeah.
But because I didn't like, I felt like begging too much was like bothering.
Yeah.
Because there were times in my life that I could request people to assist me, but they were not ready to do so. So this made me be withdrawn. So I'm in school, Nyabondo, MTC. I thank God, Martha was so much good. Yes. She was just feeling like every month she should send me something to push me.
Okay.
Yeah. After I think when she retired is when she stopped because now the income are not like they used to be. That is when I was in third year.
Okay.
Second year towards the end.
Okay.
Almost joining third year.
Yeah.
And I really had a rough time because during that time, okay, my brother also by the time I was now in Nyabondo, he was back in Kenya, so he could chip in.
Okay.
Then when I was when almost joining third year, my brother passed on.
Oh.
So I didn't have any other person, I mean a person that I could be close to, that I could share with any other thing.
Because the rest of your siblings were
younger.
Yeah. On you. Okay.
So I remained with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. So most of the things I could share with her. Then she also passed on to 1 year later, 1 year and some months.
What was the situation of your brother's death like? I mean, was he sick or something?
My brother, because he was this kind of a person, we are not that much, I can't say we are very much close because of that age gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only shared with him what I felt was necessary. So she couldn't tell me when he began being sick. Okay. But I remember when now he was so much down, and I was in school, and nursing, we don't have time to break. It's always like you go to school for 1 year, then you break for 1 month, then you go back to school. And the nature of my home or family status won't allow me to go back home. So I would prefer being in school, then go to my maternal home for that 1 month, then come back to school. Okay. So we couldn't communicate. When he felt like now it was now too much and we had to know, he called me and told me that he was sick. He had hepatitis B. And I facilitated him coming to Nyabondo with hopes that he will get treated and maybe get cured. Okay. But things didn't work and he passed on. Okay. So again I was left like hanging. Yeah, with only God to turn to, and I thank him because he's been a real dad to me, a real mother to me. Yeah. I remember when my brother passed on was the same time when my younger brother was to go to college, and there were no finance and there was nothing, completely nothing. At one point he ran from home. He couldn't be traced, and when I managed to get him, what he told me was, he normally calls me sis. If you can't handle it, then nobody else can. I'm not seeing the sense of being at home. Everybody have gone to school except me. Then I'm like, now God, where do I turn to, or who do I go to? That night, on my bed, when people were snoring and others were dreaming, and some were talking to themselves. Of course, when they are asleep, I sat down and I told God, I do hear you are the father to the fatherless.
Yes.
And you are the mother to the motherless. Where I've reached with my family, it's only you who can take us out of it. And I told God, you are my father now. Do to us what our father could have done when he's alive. It was in the midnight, I'll never forget, on a Wednesday. Friday was the deadline for the students joining Egerton. All avenues closed. I tried asking friends who could help, because I had this notion of him going, applying for help and refunding the money, but nobody was willing. So, and my uncles also, they had their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Some of them told us point blank that you have to carry your own cross. Others told them that you are now an adult, you can look on how to help. And here you are in school and you don't have any other way out. So I told God, they've told us to carry our own cross. Others have told us that we are adults, we have to see on how to do it. During that time, Dr. Joshua Ron had some financial crisis. I think most of his investments went under.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard of some of his buildings going through fire or something. I don't know what happened. He had some investment, I think, in Sudan or something. Then he used a lot of money there, and then I think Sudan being not stable, most of his investments went under.
Okay.
So I couldn't tell him because I knew his status. My fee had already been in default also. My college fee had a balance of around 200,000.
Your college fee? My
college fee, yeah. And he was the one paying my fee. So him defaulting, I knew he has reached a point that he can't help. So I didn't want to bother him. So I told God, do to us what our father could have done, because we are now stuck.
I see.
In the morning, I woke up, went to class, then came back and called my brother. He wasn't picking calls. Calling home, I'm told that he's left and nobody knows where he is. Went back to class. Of course, I couldn't settle because you don't know. When somebody tells that I've given up, if you can't handle it, then I've given up. You don't know whether he's feeling like whether he's going to kill himself or...
Yes. And that's possibly the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah, so I was like, now, where do I get him? By God's grace, at around 1, I got him. And I told him, John, go to school. And then he was like, where is the money? I told him, I have already gotten the money. Go reach Egerton, tell me you've arrived in school, then I give you that money. And at that time, it was just faith in action. I didn't have any single cent. In fact, the money I was using to call him, the airtime, was a Okwa jersey of 20 bob.
So what money? What money were you promising him?
I just wanted him to go to school. I knew in either way God will have to work. And because I'd talked to God in the night, I told him to do what my father could have done to me.
Yes.
So I was sending him to school because...
After praying this prayer, what was the feeling like? You trusted God that
I knew he
was going to do.
Yeah. And I told him, if you disappoint me, it's going to be in the Guinness Book of Record. I'll be the first person that you've disappointed in this. In fact, it wasn't a prayer. I was talking just the way I'm talking now. I told him, you have to do for me what my dad could have done when he's alive. And if you disappoint me, because your word says that you are never a liar,
yes,
it will be in the Guinness Book of Record. I'll be the first person that you've lied to.
I see.
I know you are hearing me, and I know you are here even if I can't see you. And I told him, tomorrow my brother is going to school. That is on Thursday, because Friday was the deadline for reporting.
Okay.
So I called him, then I called my friend. I had a friend in Nakuru. One of the ladies we were staying with got a job in Nakuru with Java. So I called her and told her, Betty, I'm sending John to your house for accommodation up to Monday. By Monday, you shall have done everything that is needed of him and shall have gotten a place to live.
I see.
I don't have any money with me.
So this is faith talking.
Now this is faith talking. No money, nothing. After that,
this is very interesting.
I told God, now it's done.
Okay.
Now we are walking the biblical way. I'm not putting any doubt in this.
Which year was this?
third year. My third year.
You're in the third year.
Third year, yes.
And which year was that? That is 2000 and...
That was what, 2010. 2010. Yeah, 2010.
Okay. All right.
2010 towards the end. So, things are set.
He goes
to school. My brother trusted me. By then, I was already born again.
Okay.
Yeah, and he knew that I couldn't cheat. And I also told God not to disappoint me so that I be called a liar. He left. And when he left, God decided to bring rain on his way. And he had to get a shelter.
Yes.
And the person that he stood next to was a friend to my late brother.
Okay.
So this friend is like, the friend to my late brother is like, John, where are you going to? I'm going to school. Where are your things? Faith have told me that she's going to pay the money while I'm in school.
Yes.
And he knew my status because when my fee was now like stopped, I told him, I was like requesting him if he can chip in and help me because somehow he was financially stable.
Oh yeah.
God used this man. He told my brother that they have to go to his house. And they went.
Where was that?
Muhoroni.
That is in Muhoroni.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know, going to Nakuru could have used Kisumu route, but he decided to use the Koru route.
Okay.
So when God wants to do his things the way he feels good, this man took my brother to the house.
The rain interrupts him.
The rain interrupts my brother in Muhoroni, and he meets this man.
In Muhoroni.
Okay. Then this man takes my brother to the house. Then my brother told me that what he had this man saying, he was calling over the phone, asking a person in Egerton the minimum amount that is required for a person to join. And then this man signed a 45,000 check, gave my brother, and gave my brother around 15,000 shillings for bag, the suitcase, and for accommodation. And that is how he went to school.
You had not mentioned to him about the case of your brother?
No.
You had only requested
I requested for my fee.
Okay.
And he told me that he has used the money he had and could not, it didn't have any money at that time. So
after your brother telling him that your brother is not worried of school fees even at that time.
he's not worried because
he is assured that
Faith has money and is going to pay.
So in other words, he didn't even request.
He didn't request. Like he just told, he told him, I'm going to school and Faith has told me that she's going to pay after I've arrived in Egerton.
Okay. So God just prompted.
Yeah. And he called and signed the check, gave my brother that money, and that is how God did what my father could have done. Yeah.
So this is praying in faith.
Yeah, praying in faith.
Prompted by the Spirit of God. Because I know, such kind of prayer would not just come from nowhere.
Yeah.
Such kind of prayer would only be prompted by the Spirit of God, who knows the mind of the Father, who knows exactly what God is supposed to be doing. Yeah. So he prompts you to pray so that you meet God at the point of prayer.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So my brother went to school. Yeah. Here I am with a balance of 200,000.
Yes.
At that time, Nyabondo introduced something called you eat as you pay. I don't have money.
Okay.
I have huge balance and I don't have pocket money. I saw the hand of God. People that I don't have any relation with, the patients I used to meet in the ward. I manage a patient, the patient is discharged, the patient comes back looking for me. Or when the patient or the relative comes looking, or maybe visiting other sick patients, they insist on seeing me and giving me money. And that is how I survived for 1.5 years in college. That is how I got my pocket money. And that is how I got the things that I needed.
what was your relationship with the patients like when you were a student in the wards? Just to give you a brief of how that was like. How were you relating with your patients? Being a believer, being a girl in need, also of course, and you know, how were you? What was your behavior like?
One thing about me, I never shared my story with any patient.
Okay.
Never. I will just, when I get a patient who is down, I will have that courage and forget about what I'm going through, and encourage this patient.
Okay.
And I thank God for the grace. At times we could share the word of God, we pray.
Okay.
At times we could I could just advise. At times just the normal interactions.
Okay.
Then they used to tell me that I'm different. How different I was, I don't know up to now. But maybe God gave me.
But you were passionate about your work.
Yeah, I was passionate about my work. One thing about me, I normally, up to now, I don't normally, if I can't help you, I'll not engage myself. But if I can help you, I give it my all, because you never know.
All right.
I do say that God don't just make people meet. I mean, you don't meet coincidentally. It's planned with God, by God.
Yes.
And maybe you may be looking down upon somebody. Maybe you're feeling like this is just a patient. But you can't know if this is somebody who will help you carry the cross.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. I normally don't have that notion in me, like I help you so that you help me. But you can't know why you meet people. In the Bible, when you read, you get some names like he met a person whose name is not even mentioned. The person who helped Joseph to get out of that pit was a person.
I see.
Yeah. So you can't know the person you are meeting. You may be meeting angels in disguise, thinking that you are meeting a human being, and you deal with them casually, and that is how your blessing goes.
Okay.
So
you survive miraculously this way.
Yeah, this way.
Some of your patients, they come back. Some of their relatives come back. They find you. They assist you, and life goes on.
Yeah, without even me telling them the challenges I'm going through.
Okay.
Like nursing, we normally have outside rotations. At times we are in school. So the times that we could go to Kisumu, Russia, we go to Kisumu County Referral Hospital. At times you could go to Ahero County Referral Hospital. And you know, for you to go there, you totally need money, because you are totally on your own.
Sure.
How to eat and how to do. God could force women, some of them widows that we were fellowshipping with, without me sharing with them. God could force them. When that time comes, she just asks you, when are you going to Kisumu? This date. Very early in the morning, she comes with unga and maize. That is enough for the whole rotation. There are some women who could just divide. You just see she's just divided for you the oil, the sugars, the shopping that she has in the house. And that is how God helped me through. I remember there was a time that I was from clinical rotation in Russia. I was so tired. I can't forget to mention this, because it's also a breakthrough in my life.
Yes.
And I met some man sleeping at the gate. He was looking like he's a madman. So I just greeted him and got inside the hostel. Then when I got inside the hostel, something told me to go back to that man. Then I'm like, no, okay, that's a small voice.
Yes.
Go back to that man. Then I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell him? I'm trying to ignore the voice. Is just like, go back to that man. The third time, then I was like, let me not argue. Maybe I'm arguing with God. I went back to that man. Then I asked him. I now began engaging him. Then I asked him where he's coming from. He was like, he doesn't have a home. And the place that he was sleeping, he was sent out of that place. And during that time, it was raining. So he had been rained on. And I asked him, and why are you here? I do see students coming, the medical students coming here. So I came to request if you can give me a Panadol. And I told him, with me, I don't have any money. I don't have Panadol with me. And currently, I don't have any money with me. But just wait here, don't leave. I went to the hostel. The only bit of eggs that I had and the only burger that I had, I prepared ugali for this man. And prepared uji and called him.
I see.
And you know, the way he was, people were like, where are you taking this madman to? I told them he's not a madman. He's my grandfather. It's just life that has made him be this way. And he was also old. So I brought this man inside the hostel, gave him food. And what surprised me was, after eating, he took some of the food he had and put them in the polythene paper bags. I asked him, why are you doing that? Then he was like, I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. You know, I've used the last bit of my eggs, the last bit of my unga, the last bit of my mboga. I don't have any other thing. And I made him eat fast until he's satisfied. So that day I took porridge because I prepared enough for the two of us. But for ugali, I didn't want to eat with him because I didn't know how angry he was. After he finished eating, I asked him, are you still feeling the headache? He told me, no, it's gone. So I was like, this person was just angry. And I told him, so long as I'm still here, come at the gate. When I get you, I'll give you food. Okay. I know it was like a blind person trying to assist another blind person. That small act.
Yes.
That month, I had pocket money totaling to 20,000 shillings. God just forced my teachers. One teacher sending me 2,000, another one 3,000, and relatives. Even the ones that when I used to call them, they couldn't pick my calls. Somebody just calls you, Faith, how are you? I'm okay. I just feel like sending you something. And we fed with this mzee for the entire 2 months that I was in Kisumu without any deficit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I finished my college the way things were.
Let me cut you short a little bit. Trying to explain this a little bit. In other words, your provision was in the act of kindness that you showed this mzee. Yeah. God brought that opportunity so that as you give,
He gives me.
God comes and fills
opens
your
the
table.
Yeah.
I mean, through that kind of act.
Yeah.
Look at how God can do great things by, just a little thing that you offer with the whole of your heart. Yeah. To someone that is helpless. Okay? Yeah. So after this?
Yeah, so that is how my college life was.
Okay.
And the balance was still there. So there was a time that I was to do my examinations, the nursing council examination. Yes. Before then, I was to do college final exams. And the rule in Nyabondo was you have to clear all the school fees.
Every bit of it.
For you to do the exams. Here I am. No money, no place to go to, no parents. I went to the principal. Then he's like, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to your parents. I told him, I'm my mother and I'm my father. So let us just talk. I was talking to him and laughing, but deep down inside me, I was hurting. But I couldn't just shed tears in front of him. So.
You were that strong girl.
I had to remain
tell
strong.
Yourself, faith has to be strong.
So I told him, I'm my father and I'm my mother. Let us talk. Then he said, no, Faith, we are not talking. I told him, you have to listen to me. Because even if you send me home, I don't have that fare home. So you'll give me the transport. And if you feel like my stay at home is enough, you'll send money for me to come back to school. I have to finish my nursing. I told him so. Yeah. Then I was like, why couldn't you come to me earlier? Then I told him, laughing, that I'm not the begging material. And he was like, are you normal? Yeah, to him it was like a joke. Yeah. But now I don't know. I just couldn't go to him and maybe begin begging or something like that, because my past begging made people feel like I'm a bother, so I couldn't just go there and begin doing that. So he managed to listen to me.
Yeah.
Mr. Alfred Juma, I really appreciate what you did to me.
Mm.
We talked, we agreed.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a note to the accounts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he wrote there, but I think maybe he became like my guarantor that
Mm-hmm.
even if I'll finish my college and don't pay my fees, will be responsible.
Okay.
I don't know what he placed in that note.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how I got the chance to do my college final. So when I was going to do my nursing council, all these things, I couldn't face him without praying.
Mm-hmm.
I went for prayer and fasting.
Okay.
3 days dry.
Mm-hmm.
And I told God of Esther,
Mm-hmm.
God of impossibilities, I'm going to face the king. And he has to open for me the door.
Oh, sure.
And we have to talk.
Wow. Wow.
To him, he thought he was talking to Faith,
Mm.
but he was talking to Faith who has seen a higher level of person than him.
Mm.
And that higher person in a higher level than him made him soften his heart.
Oh, sure.
Most people dropped from school because of that.
Mhm.
I know of several people who dropped from school because of lack of school fees.
Okay.
I also want to thank Mr. Alfred because
Mhm.
through that, he managed to apply for me the Elimu Funza loan
Okay.
to cater for some of my my school fees.
Mhm.
When they sent money that wasn't enough, he had to do a letter for them
Mhm.
himself, and
Okay.
they increased my loan to 45,000.
Okay.
That slashed the fee that I had.
Wow.
So after that, I went, did my nursing council exam.
Mhm.
Now, it's time to face the reality. I have to go back home,
Mhm.
and I don't have the home to go to. So I'm like, now, where do I go to? Should I go to my maternal home, or my biological home, or where my mom was buried? People went home, and I was left there in school. I stayed in school for 2 weeks, and until my juniors began speaking. They were talking like, Faith, why are you not going home?
Mm.
I was feeling hurt, so hurt, but I couldn't just show them. No. You have to be strong no matter what. So I told myself, Faith, be strong and face the world. No, when they asked me why I wasn't going home and the rest of my classmates have gone home, I used to answer them that they're still building at home, and I was told the building has reached the lintel. When the roof will be placed, I'll go. And then they're like, Faith, are you not? Yeah, that is the situation at home.
Yeah.
So I have to stay here.
The building is going on. Okay.
So I stayed there for some time. Then, during this time, I was telling God, I'm not going back home. Because even if I go back home, what am I going to do there? My siblings, all of them, they're like depending on me. Wife to my late brother also. She's also sort of depending on me. Now, what am I going to do? So I used to cry to God. Then there was a crusade that I went to. After that, I told God in that crusade, I'm getting out of this crusade with a place to go to,
Yeah.
but not home, because I can't go home. I came back to school. It was on Saturday. No, Sunday evening. Monday morning, Miss Alfred called me and asked me where I'm comfortable working. First, he asked me if I've gotten a place. I told him, no, I'm still looking for.
Yes.
Then he told me, can I work in Nyabondo? Or if I get another place, I'll be comfortable. I told him, with all the things that I've gone through in Nyabondo, will remind me of how bitter life was. Kindly, I need to change environment. And he understood me. He made a call. My first job, I didn't do interview. I didn't write application letter. He made a call to Oriang Mission Hostel in Kabondo, and sister told me to go. I went there set with my uniforms and everything. I went there like I'm going to begin to work. In fact, I arrived in the facility, and because he told me that I'll be working in MCH, went direct to MCH.
Okay.
Then sister came and called me. She was also surprised. I thought you had to come to me first. Then I'm like, sister, I don't know the procedure. I went to her. So she told me the requirements, what I need to do, and told me to write a letter just for formality.
Yes.
So that, and told me to go back to work. When I come the next day, I give her the letter.
The letter, yeah.
Yeah. And that is how I got my first job. Yeah.
In Oriang Mission.
In Oriang Mission Hostel.
Okay.
God was gracious. My first day on duty, I almost cried before a patient. When an old mzee came and he had a grandson who had some wound. I did the dressing thoroughly well. I squeezed all the parts. I did everything that is needed.
Yeah.
And left the wound clean. Then the old man told me, "Sister, thank you." I was like, am I dreaming? Am I also called sister? I mean, have I achieved it? After all this.
Wow. Wow.
That day I couldn't control myself. I had to leave him there, go to the toilet
And cry.
Wash my face and come back.
I see.
Yeah.
So you worked here for how long?
I worked at Oriang for 1 year.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of it was
so let me know something. You had a fees arrears, huh?
I had fees arrears.
So as you were working, you were...
No, at that time I had not started. I was earning, what I was earning was less, that couldn't sustain me, plus my family, and pay my fees.
Okay.
And I told Mr. Alfred, I know I have your debt, but I'll pay. I'll not run with your money.
Yes.
He told me to feel comfortable. He knows me, he knows I'll pay.
Yes.
That is what he told me. Then I felt at ease.
Oh yeah.
So during that time, working at Oriang became so hectic. I was the only nurse managing so many things. And I told God, just like you opened this,
yes,
I have the experience that is needed. Now give me a better job.
yes.
I went for prayer and fasting again.
Okay.
Yeah, my things are always pray and fast, then I ascend.
Oh, yeah.
So I went for prayer and fasting. This time round, I fasted for 7 days. I was only taking strong tea.
Yeah.
And during this time, I had already given birth to my firstborn prematurely because of the hectic work that I had at Oriang.
So you had been married?
Yeah, I had been married.
When you were...
I got married at Oriang.
Okay.
Yeah.
After your college.
Yeah.
When you got posted to Oriang, that is when you got married.
Yeah, that is when I got married.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had my firstborn prematurely at 7 months, and I told God, I don't feel like going back to Oriang. During that time when I was still in my maternity leave, I told him to open for me an avenue. It didn't come immediately. I went and began selling Mtumba clothes for like 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 4th month, at Oyugis, a man in his rightful mind came and drove over the clothes that I was selling with the mud. And then the women, at this time, had already made a lot of applications, but I wasn't getting shortlisted.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was wrong. So the women that I was with in the market were like, why are you so much polite like this? If I could have been you, this man could have paid double. Then I said, no, this is something that wants to pollute me. I packed and left. When I arrived at home, and that day I didn't sell anything.
Okay.
I didn't sell anything. My clothes are dirty. I couldn't take them to the next market because that red soil and everything. I had to wash them. I sat down and I told God, I didn't pray. I told him, this time round I'm not kneeling down.
Yes.
We are speaking, so come and sit next to me. And I began talking to him. I told him, you couldn't allow me to pass all through what I've passed through in life for me to go and do Mtumba business. I didn't do business administration or anything related to business. I told you that I want to work in a hostel, not in a market. I was just talking like that, and I was assuming he was hearing me.
You are talking to your father?
Yeah, I'm talking to my father. So I told him, I need a job. I told him, you know, all the offices I've applied. You know where my application forms are. You know which is fit for me.
Okay.
I need a job. After speaking, and at that time when I was speaking to God, I got sort of carried away. I was crying.
Yeah.
Then my phone was off. It was around 6 in the evening when I came from Oyugis to Orian. Then after finishing talking to my father, I switched on my phone because I didn't want distractions. My husband was also busy, but was in the bedroom. He was also preparing for his exams. I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to tell him what I've gone through. That was my own cross, and I had to get on how to handle it. After finishing talking to my dad, I got 3 messages from Ampath asking me if I'm still interested in the posts that I applied for. The time and the number of messages told me that it was God. And it found that when I was going for this same interview,
Yes.
when I wrote my applications, my letter got lost in the office. And when I was praying and asking God to open for me avenues, they called and requested that I resend my application. And I was like, which employer does that?
This could only be God.
Which employer does that? I mean, working with the NGOs, and they have so many applications.
Yes.
I sent them my letter, and then I told God, because you've begun moving, I have to get this job.
Yes.
When I sent my letter through email. My sister was in Eldoret then. I sent her the letter. She printed and took to Ampath. Then immediately my letter landed to them. They sent me a message telling me to prepare for an interview. They gave me 7 days. These 7 days again, I told God, this Jericho has to fall down.
Yes.
And I told God, even if there are spirits who never worked in my family, or it's a blood, or it's some, if they come running, squatting, screaming, they just have to flee, have to get this job. Because there is no how an employer can tell you, or a person who is interested in employing you, tell you to send your application after the first one is lost.
Yeah.
So I went for prayer and fasting. Then the day I was doing my interview was the day I was breaking my fast.
Okay.
We were called here in Homa Bay at Cold Springs Hotel, and we were so many. My papers were so little compared to the ones that the other people.
Yeah.
My CV was just 1 page because I didn't have that big experience.
Yeah,
I'd never done anything to do with the research.
Yeah.
I had people who had worked with Cambridge, others were coming from Aga Khan, from these big hostels, and there I am. So when they told us that the interview is to be done online via Skype, these people began freaking out. I told God, this is my chance. They told us to get something to eat under their bill. So people ordered those things that they could order. I only took juice because I was fasting. After finishing this juice, I went to the loo, to the washrooms, and reminded God my agreement with him. That is the 7th day, Jericho has to fall down.
Yes.
From the loo, I was called to go to the interview room. When I got inside there, I thought that they were joking because it wasn't like the normal interview that I know.
Yeah.
And when I asked these other people, my case was different. Like I get into an interview room and nobody asked you for your documents. I stood there with them. Nobody tells you to sit down. Standing there for some time, then I'm like, I should be sitting down. This chair is mine. So I sat down. Nobody's asking you for your documents. The interview has begun then. They didn't ask me a lot of questions. I decided to give them my documents without them asking.
Okay.
So that they go through my documents.
Yes.
Yeah. So after this interview, I just knew that it is done. But they took long responding. So I went back to my Mtumba business.
It took like how long?
They took like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Went back to my Mtumba business. So when that driver drove on my clothes and came back home and spoke to my daddy and told him this wasn't our agreement. The initial work wasn't this way. I wasn't for business.
Yes.
I was for nursing. So I just have to go back and work in the hostel. So after finishing that conversation, switching on my phone, I get their message. And they're asking me if I'm available. And I told them that I'm available. And that is how I got employed.
Wow.
So getting employed, I thank God for the grace. I met several people. I worked with several people. And the job was also good. It was well paying. In fact, like 4 times what I was getting at the dispensary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I told God one thing. And I'm still asking God that. If he sees pride coming to me, let him warn me. And if I can't be warned, I'd rather die than having pride in me.
Okay. Okay.
I told him, because and that has been my policy, because he gave me that job.
Yeah.
I helped some orphans and some widows, because I know so many people are going through what I went through.
Sure.
Yeah. I can't support them fully, but maybe buying a sanitary towel to a lady, or maybe some oil or something, or maybe paying a little fee here and there. And it has also helped me.
Oh, I see.
Because whenever I'm going into some crisis,
Yes.
I tell God, you've written in your word,
Yes.
that whoever gives you, whoever supports the needy, gives you.
Oh, yeah.
And when the time for need arrives, you shall be available for this person.
Oh, sure.
Now I want to see you in this. Yeah. And for real, he has never disappointed me.
Wow. Wow. So, what you went through and how God pulled you through step by step made you develop again the attitude of giving.
Yeah.
Which has also, has lifted lives of so many other people.
Yeah.
How about you? Because we know that God blesses givers.
Yeah.
How about your life later? What are you able to count 1, 2, 3 that you have experienced as breakthroughs?
Yeah.
Coming from giving. Apart from that, Mzee, and I know you've.
Yeah, I've had several breakthroughs.
Later now when you're working.
Yeah. Or when I joined Ampath, I managed to get a land, build a house. I'm currently I'm not paying rent. Because after I came to Mabey, stayed in a rental house for like 3 months, but I didn't like how I was being treated, and I told God, I don't want to stay in this jail. I need my free space.
Yes.
Then we had a crusade, and I hosted some men of God. And when they came into my house,
yes,
I told God that I'm not hosting men, I'm hosting you. And you have to open for me avenues.
Yes.
From this.
Okay.
So I did everything that I could. By that time I was coming from Rodi to Mabey, so I was using like 100 bob per day. When these men of God left, the day they were leaving, they told us that there is nothing that they can do. Whatever they've seen in my house is beyond what they were expecting. So they told us that let us ask God anything that we want. And I said, oh, that is now.
This is the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told God, 1, I don't want to be in this rental house. I need to be in my own space.
Yes.
2, I don't want to be a Kenyan nurse. I want to go international.
Okay.
And that is where that dream began.
Oh, I see.
So, after they left, within 1 month, the following month I got a land. And we managed to talk to them and build my house. I'm now coming from a house. Then at that time I was also expecting my second born. So when I was in that maternity leave, I began pursuing my journey to going to work as an international nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thank God for the grace because to other people, even being in a plane is like a normal thing. To me, it's a miracle.
Boarding a plane.
Boarding a plane is
Yes.
even staying being in the airport.
It's a
Because
miracle.
I just used to see planes passing over my head,
Yes.
but I didn't know that one day I'll be in one.
Oh, yeah?
By God's grace, He gave me the opportunity to go to South Africa, do my exam. I'm now waiting for the final stages. When His time comes, I'll be working in the US as a nurse.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I really bless His name for that.
Wonderful.
I didn't know that at one point I could be owning a passport. To me, passport was that passport size photograph. There was a time I was going to do my interview and I misplaced my ID card.
Yes.
Then I'm like, my husband was telling me like, you can also use a passport as an identification. Then my current job now, they were like, where is your ID? Then I removed my passport. The watchman looked at me, looked at the passport and looked at me again. Then I'm like, okay,
You
God.
could not imagine you could own one.
To me, it's there. You know, there's some things that when happening in your life,
Yes.
it's just God and nothing else.
Wow.
To me, it's just God. The far I've reached,
Amen.
if it was not for Him,
Glory to God.
I could have not been here now.
Glory to God.
Maybe I could have been in some street somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I could have been using some drugs somewhere. Maybe I could have been dead. Because again, what I was forgetting, when I got born again immediately after the death of my brother, there is something funny that happened in my family. It began from my maternal home. There was this death that was coming every year. And for 5 consecutive years, 5 people died.
Oh.
So the 5th person to die was my brother. And it was happening in a funny way. When it gets into a house, firstborn, secondborn, then skips. Firstborn, secondborn, like that. So when my brother died, after burying him, going back to school, I began being sick.
Yeah.
And generally, I used
secondborn.
Yeah.
So
according
to the trend, you could have been the next.
It has knocked on my door.
Yeah.
And apart from that, generally, I used to be sickly. I used to be so sick. I couldn't take a whole month without being sick. Just generally, even without the happenings begin to happen, I just used to be sick. In my family, I say I'm the only person who was just from, I don't know why the devil was so much tough on my life and God was also so much tough on me. You know, there is just one, you can just find yourself in a family that it's you to be sick, it's you for your ways to be so tough, it's you that can't ascend.
Oh, yeah.
You just get that it's you who is full of all the bad things in the family.
But it's now a bit more clear to you now.
It's more
now
clear.
That you have drove through life and have seen the impact of your life, even on other people. Then you've now realized, so this is what the devil was really fighting. And this is what God was really defending.
In fact, there was a time I was asking God. I can't remember how many times. There are times in my life that I could be sick to a point of death. When I was young. I can't remember how many times I drowned in River Migori. You know, when we were young, we could go swimming. I can't remember how many times. There was a time that now it was so clear.
Accidentally or...
You go swimming, then you just get yourself tired, and you are in the middle of the river that is killing people.
Oh, sure.
There was a time that I was almost giving up and dying. Then something just told me to jump. And I jumped and managed to stand with my toe and hung my head over the water. Got some oxygen and managed to jump again and got out of the water.
Wow.
After getting born again, I sat down and began picturing my life, how it has been up to now. Then I'm like, there must be something that the devil was seeing. That is why he made my mom never to conceive me and now began making my life difficult. It isn't coincidental.
I see. But having grown in faith and in the knowledge of God, you have come to understand your place.
Yeah.
Who you are.
I know who I am.
In the kingdom
in
of
the
God.
Kingdom of God, yeah.
And in your family,
yeah,
and in the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Sindio.
Kabisa.
Now, just to conclude, thank you so much for being kind to share with us your life. And I'm amazed at what God has done in your life and through your life, even to be a blessing to other people. I know there are girls somewhere who are going through almost what you've gone through. Some of them are going through the same in a different fashion. Maybe someone else is yet to go through that. Or someone is whatever situation any person is in right now, and after listening to you talk, they are wondering if it is possible with them to climb to a higher ladder in their lives. Somebody is almost giving up in life. You know, those situations that really push people to that level of giving up, even to commit suicide. I need you to talk to somebody who is going through such kind of situation, especially our girls, because what is most interesting in your story is the fact that you are a girl who never chose to go through the shortcuts of life, you know, and you went through everything you needed to go through by God's help until you are what you are today for yourself and for so many other people. Please, I want you to look at this camera and talk to that girl. I know she's listening to you right now, and she really wants something that is going to pull her from slipping into suicide into where she needs to be. Yes.
I really want to thank God for this. During my many challenges, suicidal thoughts came to me.
Yes.
I don't want to lie about that. When I was in college, I was so much into suicidal thoughts. Then I had a small voice telling me that run to God is full of mercy. Even if you've been a sinner all your life, He can still cleanse you, and He can still be compassionate with you. And that is what I did. I ran to God and rededicated my life seriously to God and connected. I said I'll have to leave everything and connect with God. If He's the source of my hope and the source of my strength, then have to connect with Him. So what I want to tell those who are almost giving up in life, or those who have given up, God never created you coincidentally, created you with a purpose. And the devil will never attack something that is a reject. He'll forever attack something that is valuable. So like Paul said, we are pressed on each side, but you can't, you just have to move out.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's within your power to remain where you are, or it's within your power to move where you are. When you have faith and when you have courage, there is nothing that God cannot do. It is not known what God cannot do on earth. Even if it's sickness, like I was saying, I used to be sick. When I got born again, it's now 8 years. I've never been sick. So I'm a medic who believes in healing hand of God. I give people medicine, yes, but I do tell them that Jesus is a healer. Yeah. So there is nothing that God cannot do.
Amen.
If it is financial breakthrough, silver and gold belongs to Him.
Yes.
Just have faith and have courage, and if you're not born again, dedicate your life to Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Because that is the gate to getting the things from God.
Amen.
If you don't pass through the gate, maybe getting those things can be difficult.
Amen.
But I know God is gracious. He can give you things even without you dedicating your life to Jesus. But for you to remain permanently with authority and with assurance, just give yourself to Jesus Christ.
Amen.
It's easier that way.
Wow. Thank you so much. God bless you so much, my sister. Are there some people that you would want to, just to mention as you give thanks? I know there are people who have helped you through in life. You had mentioned some few, but you can as well repeat, and a few others who maybe you could want to say something to them concerning your life.
I would love to thank so much Mama Martha Odera.
Wow.
Kisumu, from Kisumu, Ogango.
God bless you, Mama Martha.
She's been so good,
yes,
so kind, motherly.
Yes.
She picked me when I thought I couldn't move.
Yes.
And took me in as her own daughter. I think she did to me things that maybe she had never done to her daughter. So may God bless you, Mom. I want to thank my uncle Joshua Ron, who stood with me up to this point. At one point when I was in my US process, I didn't have money. He facilitated. He helped me pay some of the money, some of the amount that were needed. May God richly bless you, and I'm praying that you get that seat as a MP Kisumu Central. May God grant you that, because I know through that you'll have greater opportunities of helping people.
Many more people. It's
not only me that he has helped severally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also want to thank God for my husband, Kenneth Odhiambo Kach. I think I could have mentioned him first.
Yes.
He's been so kind, so supportive.
Yes.
It's hard getting a man like him.
Yes.
I do say that men are many, but husbands are few. I was lucky to get a husband. Yeah. Getting a man who allows you to go. I can go for my prayer and fasting even outside the home, and he doesn't bother. He takes me there and comes and picks me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's hard without him having any feeling like maybe I'm going to do my own things. He's been so supportive. Like when I'm not in the house, he takes care of my kids and everything. He makes everything moving when I'm not there.
Yeah.
It's hard getting a man of that kind.
Amen.
Who can cook, wash dishes, change diapers, and wash the kids. May God richly bless you.
God bless you so much.
I want to thank my bishop so much, Bishop Ayan, Jared, Jesus Revival Ministry. He has been a pillar to me. I thank God because in him I'm seeing a dad, both spiritually and physically.
Yes.
Whenever I have any challenge, he's always there to help me.
Wow.
May God bless you so much, Bishop.
Right.
Bishop John Okinda, I can't thank you enough. I couldn't have reached here without that one step that you did in my life.
Yes.
May God remember you and remember your generation.
Amen.
Your kindness was out of this world. And all those people who have prayed with me, have supported me that I can't mention because of time.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
And you are always in my prayer. And may God richly bless you and bless your generations.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen.
God bless you. I pray for you.
Thank
I
you.
pray that God leads you and give you good health and many more years to live.
Amen.
To be an impact to many more people.
Amen.
I remember where you have come from, and as you said, you are daily fighting to remain humble, to fight the spirit of pride. May the Lord help you to fulfill your desires, that everything that you have decided to do in the lives of other people, the Lord may accomplish them. And may the Lord reestablish that family, that shattered family, that once was shattered family, but God is reorganizing your siblings and the rest of everyone that is connected to you.
Yeah, thank God we are now coming together. I forgot that bit.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know in the near future, maybe in the next 3 or 4 months,
Yes.
things will fall in place.
Right.
And the devil must be ashamed, because what he felt that is going to put me down
Yes.
became my strength to ascend higher.
Amen.
May the name of Jesus be glorified.
Glory to God.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, my viewer, for being patient with us. As Faith, who is really Faith, sharing her testimony of how she went through everything she went through, but came out victorious up to now. And as the other singer said, that it shall be permanent.
Yeah.
What the Lord has done for me shall be permanent. This is our prayer and our desire, and we know our God never changes. If He gives you grace, if He elevates you to a level, He never changes. He is a God that is not like any man. May the Lord bless you and do unto you just as He had done to Faith, and even much more than He has done to Faith.
Amen.
If this is your first time again to watch our program here, please consider subscribing, and also you can turn on that notification bell so that anytime we post any other video, you shall get notifications that we have a new stuff for you. God bless you so much. Have a wonderful time. See you in the next video. Amen. Kenda ngeo chutho, jal makonya okol koda.